Question 8 is another limit question using an equation here instead of a graph. So we're going to handle it just like we did question 7, which means we're going to do this in the calculator. So we'll start off by taking that equation that they gave us, and we're going to shove that into y1 on our calculator. From there, we will graph that equation, and then we'll go ahead and do second, calc, and in that calc menu, we'll choose number 1, which is value. And then it'll ask us what x value we care about. And in this situation, they're giving us an x equals -2. So we'll type in -2, and whatever y comes out, hopefully it does. We got a blank on question 7, which meant we had to try the second option, but maybe it'll work through option 1 this time. You always got to try option 1, because if it works, it's super easy. So we go to our y equals, and like before, if you want to do a fraction on some of these calculators, you can hit alpha, y equals, and then choose number 1 right there, numerator, denominator. And now we can just easily type it in how it looks again without having to use any extra parentheses, which is super nice. So -8 over, and then x squared minus 4. And just for those who don't have that feature, remind yourself that it's always the whole top in a set of parentheses. So that -8, and then close that parentheses, divide it by, and then open, and then the whole bottom in a set of parentheses whenever you're typing in a fraction into your calculator. So that's what it would look like if you didn't have that button. And we'll turn that one off, and we'll graph just the first one. So we want to know what's happening at x equals -2. So we hit second, calc, and number 1 there, value. And we want to know what's happening at -2. So we type in -2 and then hit enter. And so we see again, like we saw in question 7, that y is coming back as a blank. And so that just tells us that option 1 failed, and that what we have to do is go through the same type of overall limit process we've been doing, which is to compare my left-hand limit and my right-hand limit. So does my left-hand limit equal my right-hand limit? Like I did before, I really like to think about this on a number line. So I draw a number line and I mark the x value I care about, which is -2. And then I say to myself, what would be an x value really close to -2 as I come in from this left direction? And that would be something like x equals -2.00001. Remember, negatives are a little weird in the fact that they get seemingly bigger. And then whatever y value we get out there, that'll be our answer. So we'll go through our calc value process again. And we say, okay, second, oops, that's alpha, second calc, and then number 1 value, and this time we'll type in -2.0000, a whole bunch of zeros and a 1, and we get out of there 3/2. So my left-hand limit is telling me that I have a value of 3/2. Now what I want to do is just go test a value really close from the right-hand direction. So as I approach it from the right, it would be looking like I'm headed towards an x value equaling something like -1.99999. So we'll go type that in, and we'll see what y value comes out there. And then we'll check to see if they're the same y value. So we'll do our second calc, and then we want number 1, which is value, so we'll hit enter, and this time we're going to type in -1.99999, and we hit enter, and this time it tells me not a fraction but a decimal of 1.5. So if we didn't know that 3/2 was the same as 1.5, we would want to just check that. So we'd come back to our calculator, and we could type, like we said, we could type 3 divided by 2, and that shows us it's 1.5, or we could type in 1.5 and do that math, and then number 1 fraction, and tells us that it's 3/2. So right now we know that we have 3/2 is equal to 3/2. They are equal to each other, which then tells me that my overall limit is also equal to 3/2, which would have been answer A in this situation.